Welcome to Math with Mrs. Cox. We are on Chapter 2, Lesson 4, page 99 in your math book. We're talking about multiplication patterns. Powers of 10 include numbers like 10, 100, and 1,000 because they can be written as 10 to the first, 10 to the second, and 10 to the third. Pet Paws is ordering more goldfish to sell at their store. Each goldfish costs $2. Use the table to determine the cost of 10, 100, and 1,000 goldfish. Describe the pattern in the number of zeros when multiplying the cost $2 by the powers of 10. All right, right here we have our table and the powers of 10. So our first spot is $2 times 10 goldfish. It's going to cost us $20. How many zeros are in that product? 1. The next one is 2 times 100 goldfish. How much is that going to cost us? $200. Did you notice that there was 2 zeros in the product of the power of 10 and 2 zeros in the answer? So in our last little section, we're going to put 2 zeros. Finally, 2 times 1,000 goldfish. There's 3 zeros in that, so guess what our answer is going to have? Yep, 3 zeros, 2,000, and we're going to put 3 zeros there. I need you to understand that the number of zeros in the product increases when the power of 10 increases. Each successive powers of 10 adds 1 zero to the product. All of those are successive powers of 10. Here we go. We're going to talk about next how many zeros are in the product of 7 times 100. Okay, make it easy. 7 times 1 is 7, plus the 2 zeros is 700. The next one we have is 21 times 10. 21 times 1 is 21 plus a 0. And then we go 12 times 1,000. Take 12 times 1, add the zeros. Now let's count how many zeros we have in each product. Great. Good job on this page. Join me on the next one, please. All right, number 1, we're going to be talking, whoops, sorry, lost it. Coming up, here we go. Got to use markup, get my Apple Pencil going. All right, here we go. For reals now. Example 2, number 1. Write 2 squared without exponents. So this is where we have to translate what 2 squared is. Very good. It's actually saying 100 because there's 2 zeros in it. Count the number of zeros by powers of 10. There's 2 zeros in it. Compare the number of zeros to the exponent 2 squared. And they are what, my fine friends? They are the same. 100 is the same as saying 2 squared. Write the zeros to the right of 13 because 1 times 3 is 13 plus the 2 zeros. It's the same as 2 squared, 1 times 100. So then our answer is going to be 1,300, adding the zeros. Ta-da! Example 3, write the basic, find the multiplication fact. So 40 times 7,000. We're going to take the 4 and the 7 and, whoops, I mean the 7, not the 4. That's what happens when I try and talk and write at the same time. So 4 times 7 equals 28. Easy peasy, right? Now we count up the zeros for each factor. There's 1 0 in the 40 and 1, 2, 3 zeros in the 7,000. So a total of 4 zeros. Write the zeros to the right of the product from step 1. So we have 28, which is our answer or our product. Then we add the zeros. We had 4 zeros to that section. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our answer is going to be 280,000. Whoops. There you go. Kind of tricky figuring out this Apple Pencil stuff. All right, thank you for your patience, friends. Let's go into the guided practice. We are on number 1, find each product mentally. All righty, so let's figure out 8 squared is just like saying 10 times 10, and that equals what? Yep, 100. 10 times 10, see? Equals 100. So then we mentally go 8 times 1. Oh, there's 2 zeros. Now we mentally go 8 times 1 is 8, plus the 2 zeros is 800. Okay, number 2, 14 times 2,000. Let's do the basic multiplication fact of 14 times 2. And that equals 28. How many zeros are there? Yep, there are 3 zeros there. So how many zeros are going to be in our answer? Yep, we're going to add 3 zeros to that. Good job. Okay, join me on the next page, please. 101, number 3. All right, find 13 times 1,000. Find each product mentally. Product is another way of saying multiplication. So first, what we're going to do is do it the easy way. 13 times 1 equals 13. How many zeros do we have there? 3. 1, 2, 3. Add that to our answer. Get that comma in there. Number 4, we have 10 squared, which really means when we translate it, 10 times 10, which equals 100. 37 times 100. 37 times 1 equals 37. Add the 2 zeros. There's your answer. Oh, got to move that comma in the right spot. There we go. That's much better. Okay, let's work on number 5. We have 9,000 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27. Then add the zeros. I love it when we can just do that. Get that comma in there. Number 6. 10 to the third, we need to translate that. So that means there's a 1 with 3 zeros behind it. Or, it also means 10 times 10 times 10, or 1 with 3 zeros behind it. Okay, so 8 times 1 is 8, plus the 3 zeros. Good job. Number 7, 21 to 10 to the first power. They're trying to trick you here. 10 to the first power means we just leave it there. So we do 21 times 1 equals 21. Plus 1 0 is, well, 210 is going to be our answer. Number 8, 9 times 50. We have 9 times 5 is 45. Add that cute little 0. Good job. Find the missing number. So we have the answer already, and we have an exponent. We need to figure out what the missing number is. All right, so we know that 10 to the 4th means 1 plus 4 zeros. So then we can deduct and count how many zeros are in the answer. So we can tell that our first number must be 7, because 10 will go into 70 7 times. Number 10, let's look at it again. We have 300 into 120,000. So I know that 3 will go into 12 4 times, and then we start counting and crossing off zeros. 300 has 2 zeros, this number over here has 2 zeros, and there's 2 zeros without a home. So we add that home to the other product. So 300 times 400 is going to give us our 120,000 answer. Okay, number 11. See if you can follow along with me. Okay, number 12. All right, join me on the next page. We're on number 14 on page 102. Each box contains 10 to the squared pencils. The school store has 15 boxes of pencils. How many pencils does the school store have? When we need to translate it, we know that there's one question mark, so we have one answer. So let's translate 10 squared. That means 10 times 10, and that equals 100. So you know each box contains 100 pencils, and the school store has bought 15 of them. So do 100 times 15. 5 times 0 is going to be, well, 0. 5 times 0 again is 0. 5 times 1 is 5. Okay, we're on the 1. We have to move over place value to the 10 spot. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. And I'm writing into my other problem, but that's okay. I'm going to put a placeholder 0 right here just so my brain can organize everything, then add them down each of the columns. So I have 1,500 pencils. Make sure you also write what you are measuring, and it is pencils. All right, number 14, explain to a friend. Gorilla runs an average of 15 minutes a day. She has a goal of running 10 to the second minutes in 7 days. Will she complete her running goal in 7 days? Explain to a friend. Okay, we need to figure out what 10 to the second means and also figure out how long she's run. So she's run 15 minutes a day times 7 days a week. So we take 7 times 5, and that equals 35. Then we go 7 times 1 is 7 plus the 3, 105 minutes a week. Now her goal was to run 10 squared. So 10 squared means 100. 10 times 10, which equals 100. So 105 was her goal. 100 was what she did. No, 105 is what she did. 100 is her goal. So yes, she made her goal. And you can explain it by saying 105 is greater than 100. 15. A group of friends bought 7 tickets to a dog show for $30 each. How much did they spend on the tickets? The tickets are $30 each. They bought 7 of them. So 30 times 7, we have 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 3 is 21. They spent $210. Okay, now we're doing number sense. We need to figure out the missing exponent. Let's count the zeros in this, shall we? There is 40, and then 10 to something equals 4,000. Well, I know that there is a 0 there in the 40, so I can take that 0 and that 0. I'm missing one more 0. So that exponent's going to have at least 2 spots. Yep, so 10 to the second power. All right, number 17. We have 32 times 10 to some power equals 32,000. So there's a 0 in that 10. Mark it off. And I've got 2 zeros that are not accounted for, so I need to add that into the exponent. So total, I'm going to have 3 total with all those zeros that are going to be packed in right there. Number 18, I have 80,000. Oh, sorry. Explaining number 17 a little bit more. Add the zeros. That's how you prove that your answer is correct. Number 18, we have 80,000 equals 10 to some power times 8. So we need to figure out how many zeros are there. We got 1 0 there. We're going to have 4 that are unaccounted for, 10 to the 4th. All right, brain builders. Explain how to determine the number of zeros in a product. Whoops. That's where I need to pull out of my eraser and erase it. Thank you very much. Explain how to determine the number of zeros in a product of 10,000 times 1,000. Okay, that's a lot of extra zeros that we're going to add there. So what we do is Count the zeros to find the number of zeros in the product. Think back to that table we did with the fish. When we bought 10, 100, and 1,000 fish, how it kept changing the zeros in the answer. All right, number 20. How can patterns be used to determine products of a number in the powers of 10?